You made it. You made it.
Well, you want to make it legal anyway. You don't want.
How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, it's a nice evening.
It is a beautiful evening, isn't it?
No, it's lovely.
Tell me to go to the store and Oh, really?
Almost 14,000.
Get it, girl. You're all right.
Nothing but I'll be in there. That's my wife was brave last week. She went out and she was all the way far. I couldn't get near her now, pickup truck. I went out there, you can just feel it. Put your sweat on it.
He lives up in Akron.
And the bad thing is,
When I get to go and stay all night. Probably not. Yeah, but we do have a good time together. As far as I know.
Can't help out so much anymore.
they get really bad shape.
Yeah.
He come in, I don't have a recipe.
I'm at.
So long with working 40, 50, 55 hours a week, trying to go outside, trying to do inside. It's overwhelming.
Everybody says that.
The only thing is like, I'm sorry, I've been here. Like, you have to do like so much prep before it, and then everybody's still like about a month and a half to be near the facility. There's housing that's available. Sharpies everywhere. Period where this way it doesn't hold that right. It's the thing that really got her. This is our like first issue.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm putting that.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I feel bad. I feel like I try to help with that. I did a terrible job. I couldn't figure it out. Hopefully they'll approve that. I'm going to be on time. I leave to go on a cruise. We're going to the Caribbean.
Anywhere but here.
Many times, but yeah. Anytime I get to go with the kids and yeah. Family and Jared. Yeah. Just to spend that relaxation time on the ship. I leave Saturday, and I'm gonna be down there for a couple of days, and then I get on the ship, put up with the light.
Taking a supplement, 3-day cruise?
I think it's 4 for 5. I get to swim with the sea lions. I already did the dolphins, and I'm gonna do the sea lions.
I've never been on a cruise. I can't go.
Oh my gosh, so many. Going down to Caribbean, so Nassau, Royal Caribbean, this little island.
Should be quarantined.
I should quarantine, yes. I love them. I've been on probably my 12th. I think it's the way to go. I love it. Everything's there. You don't have to go out. If you want to go out, if you want to do something, you stay with the school, you know? I love it.
Certain hours.
I always take Dramamine because I don't know whether somebody will get sick, but I don't know who will, so I have to take Dramamine.
Yeah, they're just off the map.
Okay, we ready to start? Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to Lordstown Village Planning Commission for this evening. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Kelly, would you do the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. Sabors?
Here.
Mayor Woodward? Here. Mr. Radka?
Present.
Mr. Rook?
Present.
Solicitor Reese?
Here.
And I'm Kelly Borden.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Mr. Schaefer
I'll second.
and seconded by the mayor. All right, can we get a motion for approval of the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 regular meeting?
Wait, go back. We need
I missed
to-
something?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got to vote on it first. Okay, all in favor of the agenda approval? Say aye. Nay? Now it passes, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, the approval, a motion for approval of the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Moved by the mayor, second.
I'll second.
Rose, second. Okay. I think I messed that up once time too. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes also. Mary, we do an oath of office this evening?
I do have one now. Down in front. Oh, down in front. Raise your right hand. Do you, Rose Sabors, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and the planning and zoning ordinances of the Village of Lordstown, that you will not make any judgments of persons or property without first having all the pertinent facts to do so, that you will not be influenced by any consideration, financial or otherwise, in determining what is in the best interest for the Village of Lordstown, and that in all other respects you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on you as a member of the Planning Commission of the Village of Lordstown to the position which you have been appointed, according to the best of your ability and understanding. This position has a term with an end date of August 13th, 2031. If so, please state that you swear. I swear. All right. All right. Thank you. I need you to sign these. Okay. And then give them back to me.
Okay, thank you, Rose, for volunteering. It seemed like a long time when they put it out that far, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Next on the agenda is election of officers. We need to elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson. We're going to do this each position one at a time. So can I have a motion to open nominations for officers of the 2026 Lordstown Planning Commission?
I'd like to make a motion to keep the current officers for the coming year that we have now.
Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Schaefer, second by the mayor. I guess at this point we can vote on it at that point. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Guess that carries, so we will stay with what we got. You got enough to glutton for punishment. Anyway, okay, planning and zoning administrator report.
No
No
report.
report. Solicitor's report?
I can address some of the issues that are being presented here tonight with respect to the parking lot expansion now, or I can discuss it when it's being presented, however you guys prefer.
Why don't we, I'll run through that because it's the second item on the agenda.
Okay.
We'll run through it. Mr. Kogelnick is not here, although he will be available by phone.
Okay.
So I will read his report and then we'll go to you.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. So no report other than that.
Okay. Any correspondence?
Yes. I have an email dated Wednesday, April 28, 2026, directed to my attention. It is addressed to Ms. Woodward and myself. I will be unable to attend the planning meeting about changes to the expansion plan of CSX. I am still 100% against it. Even with the changes, it will be noisier and there will be more light pollution. More cars mean more trains and more blocked roads. Those issues can only get worse with expansion. Recently, I have noticed more car haulers driving on Lentz to Bailey instead of using Muth. Again, more cars being brought in will lead to more trucks cheating and using Lentz instead of Muth and industrial trade. As it is now, CSX creates roadblocks with trains, light pollution, and illegal traffic on Lentz. In addition, it is loud. Why would we believe a larger number of cars in an expanded lot would be better? Please vote against the CSX expansion. Sincerely, Glenda Bailey Betteridge. That's all I have.
That's it for correspondence? Okay, old business?
No old business.
Okay, we have two items on the agenda for this evening in new business. The first one, request for site plan review approval not involving new construction by Larry Boss doing business as Pizza Joe's at the Lordstown Plaza on Todd Avenue. Kelly, you want to present that?
Yes, thank you. This is actually ABT Dining Group, LLC, and Larry and William Boss doing business as Pizza Joe's. They will be at the Lordstown Plaza, 6100 Todd Avenue, Suite 5. General information for the Planning Commission is that Larry Boss, along with his son William, are seeking to reopen Pizza Joe's in Suite 5 of the Lordstown Plaza. Mr. Boss shares that he has executed a 3-year lease with the landlord. He is proposing to employ 6 to 8 people, some full-time, some part-time, and some high school students. He will also be starting delivery of orders. Mr. Boss reports that he does have business insurance in place and his food service licensure will be obtained prior to opening. The oven stove hood will be inspected and cleaned immaculately, and a health department inspection will also be conducted both prior to opening. Hours of operation will be 7 days a week, likely from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Hours may vary slightly, and Pizza Joe's may be open later on the weekends, depending upon business. Mr. Boss is looking to become very involved in the Lordstown community by supplying local businesses with food, working with the school, participating in local events, and supporting local athletic teams. The proposed opening is June 1, 2026. The existing zoning of the property is B2, Commercial Highway Business. The applicant space in Suite 5 of the Lordstown Plaza consists of approximately 1,250 square feet. There will be no indoor dining. However, there will be a table for customers waiting on pickup orders. There is a restroom on site for employee use only, not for the general public. There is a fire exit at the back of the suite, and emergency exit signs are properly placed for safety. Applicant has submitted a general floor plan. The applicant offers that there is a shared parking lot for all tenants of the Lordstown Plaza complex with a total of 75 spaces, being 10 foot by 20 foot or larger and having 2 ADA compliant spaces. A diagram of the parking lot has been provided. There is also an existing red Pizza Joe's sign on the building above the entranceway to Suite 5. It was not removed as it was contemplated that Pizza Joe's would reopen. The applicant has been informed of code requirements under Lordstown Codified Ordinance 1165, and that an application for zoning permit along with a plot plan must be completed and submitted to the Lordstown Planning and Zoning Office prior to the placement of any additional signage on the exterior of the building or on the marquee near Todd Avenue. Lordstown Plaza fronts on Todd Avenue. Mr. Boss, both Mr. Bosses and his family is here. If you have any questions, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, I don't know whether you want to come up to the microphone, give us your name and address.
Yeah.
If you will.
My name is William Boss. I live at 2523 Lewis Seaford Road in Hubbard, Ohio. I just want to say that we're really looking forward to the opportunity to reopen this Pizza Joe's and give the hardworking people of Lordstown a good place to eat, a safe place, clean place to work and eat.
Appreciate that.
Any questions?
Any member comments?
What's that?
Question to them. Any member comments? How about public comments?
The only other thing I want to share too, Mr. Chairman, is that the department heads have reviewed the site plan approval and they have no concerns.
No concerns. Very good. Well, welcome you in. So, at this point, we need a motion for final site plan review approval, not involving new construction for Larry Boss, DBA Pizza Joe's at the Lordstown Plaza on Todd Avenue. Motion, please.
So moved.
So moved by the mayor, second.
Second.
Mr. Schaefer? Okay. Kelly, would you do a voice vote, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Rook?
Yes.
Ms. DeVos?
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Welcome to Lordstown.
Thank you.
We missed you one of those times. We're glad to see you back.
All right.
Okay, any other comments on that one? Okay, moving on to the second one for this evening, resubmission for final site plan review approval on an inventory parking expansion project west of the Lintz Road Railroad Track by CSX TDSI. Kelly, would you present that one, please?
Yes, this is just a short memo just to keep everybody updated. They had come here back in September for a site plan review, so this is just a continuation, a resubmission on that site plan review for an inventory parking lot expansion project. For review purposes, Planning Commission has been provided with a copy of the minutes from the September 8, 2025 meeting during which CSX TDSI presented for site plan review of an inventory parking expansion project west of the railroad tracks at 2188 Lintz Road. At that time, the Commission, by a 4-1 roll call vote, denied applicants' requested waiver from the Lordstown Codified Ordinance 1169.01 requiring a landscape barrier or a wall on the west side of the inventory parking lot expansion area. Additional concerns were offered by Planning Commission with regards to existing and proposed lighting at the facility. As a result of the information provided, responses received from the applicant and comments from the residents, Planning Commission unanimously voted to deny the request of CSX TDSI for site plan approval on the inventory parking expansion project. CSX TDSI is now returning to the Planning Commission to resubmit their request for site plan approval on this project, including a west side landscape barrier and committing to fully address the existing and proposed lighting concerns at the facility. They will be presenting and explaining the updates to their development plans. As a reminder, on September 8, 2025, the Planning Commission unanimously voted to grant applicants' requested waiver from the Lordstown Codified Ordinance 1107.07 requiring landscaping within the interior of the parking lot area as it relates to this project. Therefore, it is not necessary to revisit that issue since the waiver granted on this specific code requirement will stand with the project. I also have just a brief note from Chief Milhone that at this time he has no concerns other than the mud or dirt on the roadway during construction, and he would ask that they keep the roadways clear during construction. Additionally, I wanted to note that as part of site plan review approval, the applicant is required to pay any engineering review fees that come along with that. The clerk's office, the Lordstown Village Clerk's Office, sent out an invoice in the amount of $6,082.32, and then sent a second notice in November 13, 2025, and the invoice was unpaid. We reached out to CSX TDSI a couple weeks ago and asked if they could let us know if, whether it had been paid and we missed it, or if it had not been paid. They indicated that they would review the matter. I had not heard anything, so I reached back out on Friday. I did hear from a CSX TDSI representative who indicated that we should have the payment in our hands shortly. There will also be, obviously, an additional invoice that will be due from this review period from the village engineer, and then the clerk sends that off to the applicant for payment. I also have a memorandum from our village engineer, Chris Kegelnick, who was unable to be here tonight, but is available by phone in case anyone has any questions. We can call him, and he'll be available. It is dated April 13, 2026, regarding the TDSI parking lot expansion on Lintz Road and their resubmittal by the developer of the site plans for review. On behalf of the Village of Lordstown, Verdanis LLC has received the following documents from the developer's engineer, Hanson Professional Services, Inc., via email in PDF on April 3rd, 2026. Civil Engineered Plans, NOI, Project Narrative, SWPPP. Our scope in reviewing this resubmitted set of plans focused only on two items: the new western side landscape berm, which is per Village Code 1169.01, as well as the proposed light fixtures. These two items were discussed in the initial submitted documents in 2025. With this recent submittal, April 3rd, 2026, the developer is committed to constructing the project in accordance with the village's approval through the site plan review process. The proposed berm and its plantings are illustrated on the new plan sheets 8 and 9 and 33 and 34. The surface area on the berm and around the new expanded parking area will be permanently restored with a maintainable lawn finish. The developer's contractor will plant conifer trees atop the new berm, similar to the type and spacing as now exists on the berm along Lintz Road. The cross-sectional views of the proposed parking lot do not include the new berm, but the aforementioned plan sheet numbers contain sufficient information on the berm to understand its construction. In summary, the shape and placement of the proposed berm appears to comply with the Village Code 1169.01. As to the proposed lighting fixtures, the developer's engineer has provided the prescribed make and model of the proposed lighting fixture on his plan sheet 27. The parameters on the new light fixtures are nearly the same as the lighting that was installed in the existing TDSI parking lot to the east. The developer's engineer also provided to me on April 13, 2026, the enclosed information on the proposed light fixture. This enclosed information does not need to be inserted into the plans since the present specified make model on the plans contains this information. On sheet 27, in note 11, it states the village will provide a permit for the electrical work called for on sheet 27. The Village of Lordstown does not provide such permit. This comment shall be stricken and replaced with the appropriate approving agency. Therefore, this item of off-street parking lighting is addressed. A point probably worth restating is that the construction and permanent access to this area of the new parking lot will only be via the existing east entrance at TDSI. If the developer's engineer would please provide me with one printed 11 by 17 color copy of the new submitted information, I would appreciate it. This concludes our review of the submittal for TDSI. Please contact me if you have any questions, and it is narrated or authored by Chris Kigelnick, Village Engineer of Verdanus.
Okay.
That's all I have.
It is, okay.
I believe Mr. Reese has.
Go ahead.
So just looking at this from a legal standpoint, there are federal railroad laws that allow companies that operate railroads to operate within the federal system, and any local ordinances are often preempted by those laws. So when like a municipality tries to regulate speed limits for on railroad tracks in certain areas, that's preempted by federal law. Or if they try to regulate crossings, that's preempted by federal law. What's not preempted is where a local ordinance would have a remote or incidental impact on the railroad operations. It wouldn't affect the railroad operations. It's laws that are more designed to protect the local residents. So I've taken the position that our landscape buffer requirements, our lighting requirements would not actually impede the railroad operations themselves. And last time they were seeking, when they presented here in September, they were seeking a waiver of those buffers. But those would not have a significant impact on the railroad operation. I know their attorneys disagree with me on that, but it's my opinion that we should be able to require them to comply with those portions of our local ordinances in order to protect our residents. But in terms of an outright denial, in terms of the parking lot expansion itself, that would likely we would likely end up in federal court if the whole site plan review approval is denied on a whole, based on federal preemption laws. So, anybody have any questions for me on how that works?
No. Okay. Reps from the companies, want to introduce yourself, make any comments?
Is the microphone?
Yes, if you would, name and address, who you represent.
Good evening. I'm Mike Polka from Hanson Professional Services Incorporated, the engineer for TDSI and CSX. I'm out of our Kansas City office.
I'm Rusty Orban with CSX out of Columbus, Ohio.
Any other comments, anything like that?
Did you want me to read the modification in the record, Kelly?
Yes, please.
You bet. Okay. First of all, happy to be back tonight and stuff. Thank you for rehearing our application. We've revised our project plans for the CSX TDSI Lordstown parking expansion at the Planning Commission on September 8th that we talked about previously. Revision 3 to the project plans shows a landscape buffer as defined in section 1169.01A of the codified ordinances of Lordstown on the west side of the development. The west side landscape buffer will connect to the proposed landscape buffer along Lynch Road, which is connected to the existing landscape buffer. The new buffer will be 4 foot above the existing ground elevation at the existing west fence. 2 rows of Norway spruce trees, similar to those along existing Lynch Road, will be planted on 12-foot centers to provide a screen like the existing Norway spruce screen along Lynch Road. The addition of this west side landscape buffer or barrier does not trigger a revision to the stormwater management system, the stormwater operation and management plan, which was previously submitted to the village and were reviewed by its street commissioner and village engineer. Revision 4 to the plans, as mentioned, we have addressed the lighting to minimize glare and light trespass. Revision 4 to the plans requires that the mongoose medium light fixtures in the development be installed with uplight skirts or vanes along the side of the fixture and stuff to limit light from going sideways or up. Additionally, a note has been added to require the contractor to furnish and install uplight skirts on the existing light fixtures in the adjacent existing parking lot. We are not aware of any skirting available for the stadium-type light fixtures, round ones, in the existing facility east of the railroad tracks. CSX and TDSI are willing to adjust these fixtures, have a truck come out and get up and adjust the aiming of those fixtures to address concerns with lights or glare on Lynch Road. Okay.
That's it? The other gentleman, any comments? Nope. No? Okay, how about member comments? No? The only, I guess, just a voice and opinion for what it's worth. Since it looks like you meet all the zoning requirements that the village is governed by, and at this point, you're not asking for any variances, correct?
No.
No variances at that point. I guess we would be somewhat compelled to vote in your favor. However, I'm still concerned about the project causing more problems than already exists at the road crossings. I have trouble understanding how the movement of more cars through the facility will not make things worse. This project obviously benefits your existing facility, or you would not be doing it, but I see no benefit to the village of Lordstown. It will only cause us more grief, and you're not hiring any additional employees, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we would not even see a increase in payroll tax.
Right.
So, okay, just my opinion that I'm not in favor of it, but I may be compelled to vote for it. Any other comments? Okay, how about the public? Yes, sir. Identify yourself if you would, please.
Tom Zelka.
You can sit down if you would, please. Thank you.
Tom Zelka, 1211 Halleck Road. I just had a question. I remember in the lighting discussion the last time, there was a concern over the height of the poles. They were going to be a lot taller than the existing ones. And that was a concern because of the higher they are, the wider the light goes out. So that wasn't addressed in your revision of any on the height of the pole.
Would you like a response?
Yeah, if you would.
Would you like me to come back up to the microphone?
As long as the recorder can hear you.
Or I can speak up loud. I am checking right here. We are doing 30-foot wood poles around basically, we're expanding the existing lot west of the track, basically doubling the size of it further west. And I believe the 30-foot new poles are similar to the poles on the existing lot west of the track. We're not going sizably higher.
I thought they were going, well, oh, I know what it was. It was like there was no specific specifications on the height of the light pole. They said the average lighting pole for a parking lot was like 15 feet, and yours was 30 feet.
Okay,
Like
I think I
like in a
remember.
Walmart or something like that.
I think I remember public comment to that effect.
Yeah.
The proposed poles are 30 feet, which are similar to the height of the poles on the adjacent lot.
Okay, any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, Steve Ellsworth, Bailey Road. What I'm concerned about is there going to be any pushing of water, you know, when you put these berms in or whatever? Where I live, it's a low spot, and I already get 1.5 feet of water in my yard, and I had to put 2 sump pumps in my basement. I just want to make sure no water's going to be pushing towards Bailey Road. And how many feet is it going to be, this parking lot going to stop before it gets to Bailey Road? Do we know those dimensions?
Yeah.
And is the parking lot, I heard there was a new fence put up already. Is that parking lot going within that fenced-in area that was already put up?
Start from the back and go forward. Questions you Yes, the existing parking lot is going to be inside the existing fence that's been put up out there. That's correct. The new landscape berm is outside of that fence because where it needs to be along Lynch Road. And on the west side, we were doing parking lot up to the fence, so the berm is now going past the fence on the west side berm. The land out there drops in elevation to the north from Lynch Road up towards the railroad tracks. And our new west berm is going to be parallel basically to that slope.
Yes.
So there shouldn't be any ponding or anything of water. It should all be continuing to sheet flow off the parking lot, continue to sheet flow to the north. On the parking lot is collected by our ditch system, which goes into a detention basin, which releases the water gradually into the existing drainage system. So there should be not any increase whatsoever in runoff rate or volume off the site.
And do we know what the footage is to Ellsworth Bailey Road from the fenced-in area? Does that happen to be, I haven't seen, there's no pictures or anything of it, so I don't know.
And remind, Bailey Road's to the west, correct? On the parcel? Yeah. So here's the west edge of our parcel, and Bailey Road, I believe, is out here. So it's like 900 and 970 feet to the edge of the parcel, to the private property, the residential properties along Bailey
So
Road.
this must be the Christmas tree farm here, I would imagine.
Could be. This is Lynch Road, so Bailey Road's out here, and this is the west end of the field.
907 feet from here to here.
We live right here. It's just where you and I live.
Yeah.
I'm at 807.
Should I stop?
Yeah.
They don't have that.
So, we can't have a private conversation.
Sorry.
Everything has to be public and on the record.
I was hoping it was going to be short.
Fair enough. Can I answer your question, sir?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay.
That was also my question. I want to see it exactly.
Name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Debbie Dudgeon, 2061 Links Road. I wanted to see exactly where this new proposed location is because I'm not able to get it in my head. So, do we have to come up here and look at the map?
Well, we can show you the drawings after the meeting if you'd like, if that'd work for you.
Okay. And I also wanted one more thing, and it probably has nothing to do with this. I need to talk to someone about the noise that comes from the railroad tracks and the blockage of the road at all times from the railroad track. And is there a protocol that you have to blow the horn at midnight, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m.? There is a protocol.
Federal law.
Federal law at every crossing.
Every single crossing.
Because I never hear it going across highways, always there at Links. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what to say to that, but federal law requires us.
And how long of a horn blow
It's
is
a
it?
defined pattern under federal
It's a
regulation.
defined pattern to indicate they're dropping off a shipment or what,
That they're approaching the crossing.
that they're approaching the crossing. So what would you consider excessive?
Anything that's outside of the federal regulation that
Where
requires
would I find the federal regulation?
in the FRA code.
Okay. Is there someone that I can speak to at your company to find out about that?
You can look it up yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just get the information off of you after you.
You can just Google all of the
Google,
information.
what was it again?
The Federal Railroad Administration.
Federal Railroad Administration and just the protocol on
You can, they have their own website and they have all of the regulations.
federal protocol,
Regulations, yes.
federal regulations. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other public comments? No?
I wanted to go back and ask about those stadium lights that you had mentioned, that you didn't have the skirt for those. Are you planning on changing those stadium lights, or are you just going to readjust them and hope that you don't give?
Well, they have a circular, or I guess what, I think it's the right geometrical shape. Circular face with a cone shape like that or whatever, and what I talked with Mr. Philpay, the operations director for TDSI, he said, well, if necessary, I said, I can't find a vein or any type of thing for this, and he said, if necessary, we can get a lift truck out there, and I said, you're gonna have to it's probably gonna move in two different, axes or something like that, but we can get out there and move it around so that the cone of light is off of Lynch Road.
Okay. Now, after this, I'm assuming that this project would probably be approved, but when all is said and done, if things are still not up to acceptable standards, the lighting is still a problem, maybe there's flooding issues because of the barriers, are we able to get in contact with you after the fact and have those issues addressed and not be put off and told it's not our problem?
Yeah. TDSI, well,
So how I will respond to this is, again, we'll go back to what we talked about in September. Everything that you all raised in September were issues we were not aware of, because no one had ever communicated those issues to us before. We did have issues 10 years ago that we addressed on site with previous leadership in the village. So there are ways to connect with our company. We talk to communities every day. If there are issues that we can work with communities on to address, we're happy to do it. However, there's a point, right? And we've had communities that have reached levels of harassment with us in the past where we just stop conversations with them simply because there's no satisfying people. So at some point, there's going to be a cutoff, but if there are issues that we can work with the community on to address, we'll do it. Will we never block a crossing in this community? I will not make that statement here tonight. That will always happen. There are 6,000 public at-grade crossings in the state of Ohio. they all run the risk of being occupied by a train. So that's just reality. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that we're going to stop blocking crossings, because we're not. There's just too many crossings. So if there are continued issues moving forward, we're happy to have a conversation and we can reach a resolution. Yes.
Okay, so we're just reach back out to TDSI. Okay.
For stuff for things with the lighting and stuff, the facility, there's PDSI folks, and then operations, I guess, CSI.
Okay.
I changed my mind, I was just...
Okay, the name and address?
2295 Lordstown Line Road. This is addressing the committee. I've lived in my home for 48 years. I hope that you consider the residents of Lordstown Line Road. We put up with lot. And, you know, I'm ready to leave Lordstown, and I've been here a long time. And I'm not happy with, I feel you don't represent the residents well enough. Thank you.
Any other comments? No? Okay, at this point then, I'll ask for a motion for the final site plan review approval on the inventory parking expansion project west of Lentz Road Railroad Tracks by CSX TDSI. Have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Schaefer. Second? I'll second the motion so we can get a vote. Okay. Kelly, would you run vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Radka?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Rook?
Yes.
Ms. Zaborz?
Yes.
Mayor Woodward?
No.
1 no, 4 yeses. It passes. Okay. Any additional public comments? The question I would have at this point is, legally, can we stop this from going through? Your comments at the beginning led me to believe that we could not.
If this were outright denied, we would likely end up in federal court, and the parking lot expansion itself would likely still be able to go through. I believe a judge would rule that anything that we do to preempt it or to interfere with it would be preempted by federal law, not with respect to our landscape buffer lighting that's designed to protect our residents. I believe that's merely incidental, wouldn't interfere with the overall railroad operations. But things like trying to regulate railroad crossings, that's very clearly, it's been preempted by federal law, by the Ohio Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court. So I don't believe at the end of the day we would be able to stop the expansion of the parking lot itself.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Reese, we do have zoning codes that speak to those issues.
Yes, we do.
That we could enforce by way of, initially a letter saying, look, here's the issue. If they're not addressed, then a zoning violation that carries a fine.
Yeah, and it would come down to whether or not it's impacting, the actual railroad operations versus having an incidental impact on the business to, protect our residents that aren't directly related to, tied into their railroad operations. So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I have one other question. Going back to a comment you made that we'd have to reach out to someone directly to the TDSI. Is there a way, when you form a management plan, can we have a direct contact who we can reach out to and then maybe say and identify, okay, through this renovation, this construction process, this is the person you reach out to make sure that the roads are clean, any wear and tear that will be financially on the company versus on the village. Is that something that we can build out and then identify what we need to do within a specific timeline versus coming back and forth with what you said, that at some point we need to have a resolution?
Spons?
Yeah, go ahead.
TDSI has regional office managers that oversee like 2 or 3 different facilities, including here in Lordstown. And we've identified that person on our stormwater pollution prevention plan, submitted to Ohio EPA to get the construction general permit for that they're going to make sure that all the stormwater stuff is. So that would also be the contact for the village to work with long term. and they'll involve others in TDSI as they need to, but the first line of contact would be your regional office manager, who was just changed things, so it's not Bill Davis anymore.
Is that something?
I can get you a name after the meeting.
Thank you, yeah, that would be great if we could have that direct contact person. And then going back to that project management plan, I mean, wear and tear, that's on our burden. Can we provide some kind of plan where that is on your, part of your budget to take care of that? Any road construction, dirt, wear and tear?
Well, we will not make that commitment here right now, no.
So if you put dirt on the road, you're not gonna clean it up?
That's not what she's saying. She's saying.
That's what it sounded like.
That is what she's.
What I heard you saying is you want if there's damage to the road, potentially, then we're I'm not going to, because I don't know what that road looks like now. Typically what people do is videotape the before and after, and then they can figure out what kind of damage was done. But what I just heard you say is, are we willing to commit to
No, what I'm
fixing your
saying
road
is,
afterwards?
will you
I'm not
commit to
doing
a
that.
project plan that identifies all of the work that will be done, and then at the end, make a resolution on what you will take care of? So in the
I think we
project
can have a
plan.
conversation. I don't like the way that question is phrased, because I don't want to make commitments around that, so we can have a conversation later.
I can address as far as the construction plan, and I know there's been concern from a couple of different officers in Lordstown on tracking mud and debris out onto the roads. We have a construction entrance in our, part of our pollution management program, to keep the silt from running off the project. Part of that is construction entrance that's going to be constructed at the edge of the existing west parking lot, and that's the place to wash down and get all the debris off the trucks. And then they still have to go all the way through the parking lot and through the TSI facility before they get out onto the entrance to the facility and only use Muse Road, not Lynch Road. No trucks on Lynch Road. Note on the plans, no contractor access to Lynch Road whatsoever. So it's got to be through the facility, plenty of opportunity to get all the debris and mud off the trucks before it comes outside the facility. That's all that's in the plans.
All right, we have one more.
Steve Dew again, Ellsworth Bailey. From my understanding from a previous council meeting, councilman that used to sit on the board, he said that area in there never used to flood until they dug out deeper around the railroad tracks and piled dirt up higher. I don't know what happened. It happened before I moved here. But he said it never flooded before they did that. And so I wouldn't really, as far as her saying flooding, if they would do something after the fact, I don't think that's going to happen anyhow, because it's never been fixed from when it happened the first time. So I think you get what you get, if it goes through.
Any other comments from anyone? All right, at this point, I guess we're ready to adjourn. I have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved by the mayor. Second?
Second.
Second by Rose. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? That ends it for this evening. Thank you.